Good morning. It is early morning. I am waiting for some cars to arrive, and then I'm going to the airport to go to Scotland to play in the Nationals there. Um, and while I'm doing that, I wanted to. I have nothing else to do. Everything is packed, so I'm going through one more list, and then I'll leave the Bring Your Guns tournament for a bit and concentrate on the Scottish Nationals. Um, Maybe I'll come back to some of the lists when I get back from Scotland. Um, Today I'm going to talk about Lasse. He has brought a German reinforced platoon of 10 dice, which is quite in the low end of the dice number. Lasse is going to find that he quite often, at least against horde players like Benny or like most of the lists for the Bring Your Guns tournament are like 12 to 15 order dice, right? That's where most of them land. So 10 is low. Can you do it? Yes. And I think he is definitely trying. Um, I'm really interested to see how well he performs with the list, because he has also made some interesting choices in this list. So let me go through the list with you, and we can talk about what I think might be a problem for him and what it can do and can't. So he has a regular second lieutenant with an assault rifle. Cheapest possible, and it's really good with the assault rifle. I recommend all German players, because you can get it, it's for free, do that. You might even consider buying an extra man, just because the German lieutenant is very usable compared to other lieutenants. He has a better snap to action. And the assault rifle is a better weapon than the SMG, right? So I recommend looking into maybe buying one more man for that. But for Lasse, he doesn't really have the points in this list. His infantry sections are, he has 4, and they're all veteran SS squads. He has 2 5-man squads with assault rifles all around and 2 Panzerfausts. So these are designed to sit in a vehicle, move up to something, jump out, and shower it with shots. Because doubled shots from each man, that's 10 shots from a 5-man unit, that's pretty good. What he has to be wary of is larger groups of infantry that can go down, where he might not do the damage that he wants to do. These groups, because they have 2 Panzerfausts, can also actively go out and hunt armor, which is pretty rare in infantry groups. And because they're in, possibly, I think he might put them in vehicles, they have the means to go out and hunt armor, right? Because they can move up with the vehicle, then they can get out and then shoot. So they have pretty long range on those Panzerfausts. And because they have 2, they're pretty sure that they will hit with at least 1, right? So I like these squads. They are very expensive, though. 100 points for 5 man. That's yeah. And they are tooled up, right? So there's a lot of points being spent on just weapons. The other 2 veteran SS squads have 8 man in each, and they have rifles and light machine guns, and again 2 Panzerfausts. These are units that are designed to sit on objectives in the back lines and just shoot out with the LMG, right? Again, they're very expensive, and I'm not sure that you actually need 2 Panzerfausts, but you can. And it can be a good idea, because the 2 Panzerfaust actually allows you to move up, shoot one, and still be a threat. Otherwise, if you're using them just to sit on the back lines, you might not need 2 Panzerfausts, because 1 Panzerfaust would be enough for most armor to keep away from you, right? So they might never fire those Panzerfausts. But it makes them way more multi-purpose if you do have the two Panzerfausts, right? And 8-man veterans, they are going to be very hard to shift. They if you have them in cover, you're going to have to HE them out or pin them down or whatever. It's going to be really difficult to kill all of them. Right. Then he has a Pak 38 50mm gun. I'm not a particular fan, but in this list you might actually need that gun. So yeah, go for it. It really depends on lanes of fire. With a Pak gun, you're going to need to be able to place it well. And I think, Lasse, you're enough of a veteran player to know how to do that. Because a well placed gun can sort of cut up the table into sections where vehicles do not want to move across that line, right? And that works well if you can sort of decide where the enemy deploys and where he moves. Then comes the vehicle park, and that is a 233 heavy armored car, the 8-rad, with a front-facing light howitzer and an MMG. That is one hell of a good armored car. It's really, really good. The front-facing light howitzer means that you can use it on your back line as just a light howitzer, shooting over your veteran SS squads. So the enemy can't move up to it, and they're going to have to face that light howitzer using indirect fire, shooting their way into them. So that works well, but it can also move, and it can recce. So yeah, I really like that armored car. It's really good. Although I do think it's open-topped, which that's always a bitch, right? Getting pinned because you're open-topped. A Panzer III, a Panzer III-E with a light anti-tank gun, coaxial MMG, and hull MMG. It's the cheaper version of the Panzer III, and it's a good main battle tank. I like those Panzer IIIs. We see a lot of them in the lists here. It's kind of cheap for what it packs. And since you already have one Pak gun, this is the second anti-tank gun, I think you're covered in anti-tank guns. I really do. And then he's packing two Hanamax. Unfortunately, didn't have the points to put MMGs on them. 250/1s. And I think he's going to put his infantry into those, so they can move up and unload the infantry and then shoot something to bits. So that is the list. Panzer Grenadiers, basically, SS Panzer Grenadiers, more or less. It's good, it's compact, but it has very expensive infantry. So Lasse is going to need to get some work done by his infantry, I think. And it has the tools for that, but it doesn't really have the manpower. So I'm very shaky on that front. Definitely, you have a lot of anti-tank, which I think is going to be good against the tank lists, including my own, where you do have enough Panzerfausts to threaten them off, to keep them at bay, and to shoot them. So maybe this is more of a reactive list. I'm guessing that as a reactive list, a list that stays at their own deployment zone and just shoots out of it might actually be a good idea, because you do have long range in this list, Lasse. Right. Thank you so much. Cheers.